welcome back everyone to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're tackling a topic that touches, well, literally every single one of us, but somehow still feels like a total mystery most of the time. We're talking about 10 love psychology facts that will completely change the way you see love. I love diving into stuff like this because by looking at the actual science and psychology, we can take something as wild and unpredictable as love and actually make sense of it. Have you ever wondered why some people just seem to fall in love so easily, like it's absolutely effortless, while others really, truly struggle to build lasting connections? It's a super common frustration. Honestly, so many of us have been there, kind of looking around wondering if everyone else got some hidden rule book that we just missed out on. We see people pair up and it looks like magic, or maybe just dumb luck. But as we're gonna see today, it's actually way more grounded than that. And that brings us to the core of what this whole explainer is about. Love is not just a fleeting emotion. It's not just that warm, fuzzy feeling in your chest. Psychology actually shows us that our brains play a massive, fundamental role in attraction, trust, and emotional connection. When we shift our perspective and start looking at love as brain-based psychology, everything kind of clicks into place. It's not about just getting lucky anymore. It's about understanding the actual mechanics of human connection, which is pretty empowering, right? Okay, let's dive right into this. We're gonna break this down into a 4-part roadmap. First up, building a safe foundation. Then we'll look at the power of daily habits, followed by growing deep emotional roots, and we'll wrap it all up with the secret to real love. All right, part 1, building a safe foundation. This is all about setting that baseline. So, here's our first big fact. People feel closer to those who make them feel safe and understood. Think about it. Psychological safety forms the absolute bedrock of any human connection. If you don't feel emotionally safe, or if you feel like someone just doesn't get you, your walls are gonna stay up, naturally. But the exact second someone makes you feel deeply, truly understood, those defenses just drop. That right there is the exact moment true closeness begins. Which leads us perfectly into fact number 7. Healthy boundaries protect love and build mutual respect. You know, people so often think of boundaries as these big, thick walls designed to keep people out. But psychology tells us it's literally the exact opposite. Boundaries aren't walls at all. They're more like the property lines that let a relationship function safely. They're absolutely necessary tools that actively protect your bond from resentment and burnout. They're what cultivate a really deep sense of mutual respect. And hey, speaking of respect, let's talk about fact 9. If we weigh the initial fiery spark of romance against the solid anchor of mutual respect, which one do you think is actually more critical for a relationship to survive for decades? Well, the psychology is crystal clear on this. Respect is far more important than romance for long-term relationships. Don't get me wrong, romance is wonderful. It's the spark, it's the fun stuff. But respect is the anchor. Because when that romance naturally ebbs and flows over the years, and it will, it's mutual respect that keeps the whole foundation from crumbling. So the main takeaway for this first phase is this. To build a solid, safe foundation, you've got to actively make your partner feel safe and understood. You have to establish those healthy boundaries to protect your dynamic, and you really need to prioritize deep respect over fleeting romance. Once you've got that baseline down, you are totally ready for the next phase. Let's move on to part 2, the power of daily habits. This is where we talk about how to actually maintain that bond. You see, love isn't just something you find, it's something you do every single day. And that brings us to fact 2. Psychology actually proves that small acts of kindness strengthen relationships way more effectively than expensive gifts. I know it sounds crazy, but the human brain actually adapts super quickly to grand, sweeping gestures. A huge diamond ring or some luxury vacation, yeah, they're great, but they do not sustain daily emotional intimacy. It's the cup of coffee brought to bed, the quick, supportive text during a really stressful workday, doing the dishes when it's not your turn. Those small, consistent acts are what literally wire the brain for secure attachment. Next up is fact 4. Good communication is one of the biggest secrets behind healthy relationships. Now, I want you to take a second and think about your last argument, maybe with a partner or a friend, whoever. I'd bet good money that the root of the conflict wasn't even the actual topic you were arguing about. It was probably a breakdown in how you were communicating about it. Good communication isn't just about talking loudly. It is an everyday necessity. It means active listening, validating the other person's feelings, and expressing your own needs clearly without pointing fingers. It's basically the daily maintenance system for your relationship. And sitting right alongside good communication is fact 6. Feeling appreciated makes love stronger and relationships healthier. Our brains completely thrive on positive reinforcement. When we start feeling taken for granted, resentment just builds up, kind of like a slow leak in a tire. But consistent, out loud appreciation, that acts as daily fuel for a healthy, long-lasting partnership. Just saying something simple like, hey, I really notice how hard you work for us, or thank you so much for being there for me today, that fundamentally changes the whole psychological atmosphere of a relationship. So, to quickly summarize this second phase, the real power of daily habits boils down to this: consistently delivering those small acts of kindness, keeping up that good, clear communication, and making absolutely sure your partner feels genuinely appreciated. Love is maintained through these really specific, super manageable, everyday habits. It's not magic, guys, it's just consistency.
All right, part 3, growing deep emotional roots. This is all about how love deepens over time.
And this brings us right to fact 3. Trust grows through honesty and consistency, not promises alone. Look, literally anyone can make a promise. Words are incredibly easy to say. But the human brain, it figures out if someone is actually trustworthy by tracking their behavior over a long period of time. When your actions consistently match your words, and when you are deeply honest, even when it's super uncomfortable to be, that is exactly when the deep roots of unwavering trust finally take hold. Which brings us to fact 5, and it's a powerful one. People may forget your words, but they remember how you made them feel. Just think about the profound psychological weight of that for a second. When we look back on past relationships, or even our childhoods, we almost never remember the exact word-for-word transcripts of conversations, right? We remember the climate. We remember if we felt cherished or if we felt constantly anxious. If you want to grow deep emotional roots, you have to be highly conscious of the emotional wake you leave behind in your daily interactions. Building right on top of that emotional memory is fact 8. Couples who create happy memories together often develop deeper emotional bonds. And listen, this isn't just about going out and having fun. This is about building psychological resilience. When you actively create shared happy memories, taking a random trip, trying out a weird new hobby, or just laughing uncontrollably because you burnt dinner, you are literally deepening the emotional roots between the two of you. You're basically building a massive reservoir of goodwill that your brains can draw upon when times inevitably get tough. So tying this deep root section together, you absolutely need the bedrock of honesty and consistency. You need a sharp awareness of how you're actively making your partner feel. And you need a real commitment to creating shared, happy memories. These 3 things intertwine to create emotional roots so incredibly deep that a passing storm just won't be able to knock the relationship over. And finally, part 4, the secret to real love. This is the final formula. Let's look at fact 10. Real love grows with patience, trust, and understanding. It sounds so simple, right? And yet it's so incredibly challenging. Patience, because merging 2 completely different lives is inherently messy, and it just takes time. Trust, which, as we just learned, is built through relentless consistency. And understanding, which takes real empathy and a willingness to step back and see the world through your partner's eyes. If you can confidently commit to those 3 steps, you are aligning perfectly with what psychology shows actually creates real, enduring love. As we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final, kind of provocative thought. How will you apply these 10 psychology facts to your own relationships? Because let's be real, information is only as good as the action it inspires. Whether it's shifting your focus away from grand, sweeping romance and toward daily respect, or maybe just prioritizing one small act of kindness today, you now have the structured knowledge to fundamentally change the way you build connections. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching this explainer today. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll catch you next time.